my science fair presentation for the Globe International Science Fair. One runner held their arms up after finishing a race instead of bending over. I love to play outdoors, especially I love to race with my friends and my dad and my brother. I also love to dance. When I finish a race, why does it take so long to recover before I can run again? I see some races on TV and magazines bending over, and when they finish running, I also see others that walk around with their hands on top of their head. Is there any difference in these two positions? Does one way make someone recover faster, feel better, and then they are ready to run another race sooner? My hypothesis is that runners will recover faster in a race with their arms over their head and then bend over with their arms on their knees. The purpose of this paper and presentation is to research the experts say about the body positioning after a race. I will also create models to see what happens inside the chest cavity when someone is bent over and when someone stands up straight. Finally, I will conduct controlled races with my family and collect data during the recovery periods and see if one position allows a runner to recover faster. I will then graph this data to see if my research and my controlled race recovery data match my hypothesis. My plan is to collect I will also have to collect data about how your lungs and diaphragm recede when you are bending over to facilitate and study of the chest cavity and diagram. I decide to construct two models of the chest cavity, one with collapsed diaphragm and one without a collapsed diaphragm. The interacting with these will help me and everyone who views my physical and presentation see what is happening and when the air is taken from the collapsed diaphragm and or normal diaphragm. This is the expanded chest cavity. It expands more than the collapsed chest cavity. This is a collapsed chest cavity. When your arms are down, it doesn't expand as much. Here is the information I placed with the constructed models of the collapsed chest cavity and an expanded chest cavity. The construction of a model of a chest cavity for viewers is made from 2-liter bottles of straw and constructed with a branching end and 2 balloons on the branching end. The other end of the straw is placed through the top of the bottle and the bottom of the bottle is cut off, then released with a tightly stretched balloon. The top of the bottle is also sealed airtight. The balloon on the bottom of the bottle is stretched and the lungs inside inflate and deflate. One of the 2 bottles is crunched and respent a collapsed diaphragm. These lungs don't inflate as much. One cavity will have an expanded area for lungs and one chest cavity will have a contracted area for lungs. These models will show you how the lungs take in air and expand and contract within the chest cavity. The lungs in the collapsed cavity will contract less and the lungs in the expanded cavity will contract more. I test my hypothesis. I set up the following experiment involving racing and participants in charting recovery times. I have decided to test the hypothesis to race across the yard, which is about 100 feet. Each of our 4 family members will run and race and stop. We will recover with our arms up over our head, and the time and how long takes to recover. After fully recovered, will run and then race again. Recover from the bent over position. We will time to see how long it takes to recover the bent position and compare the results. The procedure to gather results to see if the person's arms being raised helps the recovery from the race was to find the group of people willing to run the race. I fixed distance multiple times and the test results in recovery position. We are healthy, but none of us are overly athletic enough that we would be able to recover more quickly because of the superior body conditioning. We are also only comparing our own recovery times. Here are the recovery times. See, mine is 14 seconds bent over, and mine is 7 seconds arms up. With our hands over our head as opposed to bent over, no person is being compared directly to another. The races were ran only testing one subject at a time, but with a partner, not part of the test. My dad's partner was me. And to encourage the runners, give maximum effort during the race. Then the runners is allowed a full 3 minutes to cool down after the race. The finish is rotated to the end of the circuit and racers are allowed the maximum recovery time. So each runner is runners twice, but there's significant cool down time in 3 races before they have to run again. This is done so the racer can be fresh as possible, and the race results will not be skewed by the fatigue. To analyze my data, I have recorded recovery times for each race participant with hands up and recovery bending over. I have also illustrated the results in the graph. Through the race times varied, and all 4 participants' recovery times were significantly less when they finished the race and put their hands over their head. And my conclusion is that the runners who finish the race and then have their arms up, open their chest cavity, are up, and their lungs have more room to expand. I also conclude because their lungs have more room and can get oxygen into their body faster, they recover from their race faster. That means if a person wants to recover to a normal heart rate, the breathing pattern faster at the end of the race, they need to have their hands and not be bent over. People like to run and stay healthy, but they don't like how long it takes to recover. So we need to find out how to recover faster. My project meter was my father. He studies biology, and he did study biology in college. He helped me see the topic and the question I was interested in and then try to solve it. He taught me how to not only ask the question, but ask how the question impacts people. He also taught me how to answer the question in the way that accounts for the what-ifs and that will happen when you present your answer. I enjoy schooling and studying, but he taught me about researching a question. He also encouraged me to get into science fairs and present my findings and take criticism with the praise. Many little girls are really encouraged to stand up and talk about science fairs. My hypothesis is I am glad to have a meter who guides me and pushes me through the answers about the world around me. Thank you for listening to